Hello friends, this is Bhatosh here. So welcome to my channel, Perfect Analyst. As my health was not good last few days, I was not able to make any videos, and unfortunately, our last two videos, Project Part 2 and Project Part 3, we had to delete that video, and because of some issue, and we are creating again that Part 2 and Part 3. So I'm sorry for that if someone is again searching that video to learn. So in this video again we recreating those project part 2 and part 3. So today's session mostly on starting our sample project. So the project objective or the project or the problem statements I have already explained in detail in the previous videos, and we have almost started. So before starting, I just explain all the steps of the projects and what you should focus. So let us start this project today, and I hope you are. I will just share my screen, and so I hope you are able to see my screen. So this is our data sets, and we have sheets here. One is university publication data, full data, and with respect to each paper ID, there is a title. So this is our data set. How normally a project starts? So the data or the data sets, when you are working with any projects, the data set will be allocated to you, or the data will be given to you in a certain format, like whether it's a Excel format or SQL, it may be in Access or CSV format or any other sources. So we have a multiple sources to load the data. If you go to Power BI, there is a option here, get data. So if you can click over here, you have a many options: Excel, CSV, XML, JSON format. You can directly upload your folder, PDF. So there are more than 99 sources are there. So based on the requirement or the client requirement, the data will be given to you in any of these format. So in this case, we are going to upload in Excel format. So it may be in SQL sometimes, SQL Server database. You can directly connect from here. You can upload XML format, CSV formats. More than 99 sources are there. So for this project, we are using Excel work. So I'm going to upload the Excel workbook. So I'm just going to connect here. So I have selected the sheet, Excel sheet, where the data set is available. So if anyone have missed my previous video, I will just explain you. I'll just brief you about the project. What is the objective of this project? So the problem statement is, one of the medical university wanted to understand their publication statistics of the university. They want to know how their faculty members publish their papers in various journals. So they want an interactive dashboards with complete analysis of every department within the university, every colleges, every faculty. So they want to know how their quality of the publications. So that's the objective of the project. And the client also given all the key parameters or the key performance indicators, what exactly they want to be in the report. So that we have discussed here, like publications, how many published in high impact factor journals, they are year wise trained, index versus non-indexed papers, uh, and also edge index of department, institutes, and all. So these are the KPIs we have to show. Now, before getting into uh, the the project, understand the data properly. So you have to understand each and every columns available in the Excel sheet or the source. What is the meaning of each and every column? So this is our data sheets and we have multiple columns here. Each column stands for its own kind of a parameters or the key performance indicators. So starting from A column to Z column, every column's headings has its own meanings, and you have to understand each and every column headings. What does it stands for? What is the meaning of that column? And what data, what type of data in that particular column you have to understand. And if you have any queries with respect to this data, if you're not able to understand the column headings, names, and what it stands for, you have to understand. You have to ask your project manager or the clients to understand deeply. So you need to spend at least 3 to 4 hours before start of the project to know deeply about this data. Then only you can proceed further, and it is always recommended to understand the data before proceeding the project. Without knowing that, if you are going to start the project, you may end up with a crisis which no data analyst should do. Okay. Next step. So once you understand the data, if you need any clarifications, if you have any problems or any doubt, you have to clarify with your project manager or the business analyst who directly dealing with the clients. If you are in the junior level, if you are a junior analyst, right, you cannot directly talk to the clients to understand each and every columns. Instead, in every project, before the start of the project, there will be a session where project manager will explain you about the project, what are the columns, everything they will explain, or they will give you a document to understand about the columns or understand about the project. So you have to know all each and every columns and make sure that you clarify your doubts before you start the project. Next is make sure the data is clean. If the data is not clean, then you have to clean the data as per the requirement. Sometimes the data is already clean and it will be given to you, and in some project the data is not cleaned. 80% of the time you have to spend only on data cleaning. That is the fact that every project data cleaning is definitely required. And if your project time is around 10 hours, definitely you have to spend 6 to 7 hours only in, or 8 hours maybe, only for data cleaning. So that's the fact. Remaining 20-30% you can do all other stuffs like visualization, standardization, and all. Not standardization, visualization, and the about the other steps, right? So data cleaning is must. And today we are going to explain. I am going to explain you, when you are cleaning the data, what are the steps or what are the things that you should remember, what you should do for cleaning the data, right? So this is the data sets that has been loaded into the Power BI. Now in this data set, if you want any changes, any modifications for data cleanings, you cannot do directly on this. You have to go to the Power Query Editor. How to go to Power Query Editor? You have to right click on this. There is an option called Edit Query. Then it will go to the
Power Query Editor. So any changes, modifications, if you want to remove duplicates, if you want to sort the data, any changes you want in this data, that can be done here. And all the steps will be reflected here step by step. If you want, if you are removing a duplicate, it will give you the headings. You can create a headings, the name of the steps. Let's say one example, you are removing the duplicates. So if you go here, there is an option. I am selecting particular journal or maybe unique ID. If there may be some duplicate in the paper ID, you can delete by clicking over here, and there is a right click and you have to remove the duplicates. Okay, here can you see the steps removed duplicates option is coming. Okay, so each steps that you have done in this transformation or in this Power Query editor, it will show you all the steps. And if you don't want, if you change the mind, then you can delete that one. Automatically it will delete. You cannot delete in between the steps, means before 2 or 3 steps you cannot delete from here, because it will break the sequence, right? So you cannot do from here. You can only delete the last step. Let's say if I am going to delete here, it is telling that are you sure you want to delete this step? Deleting this step may affect subsequent steps, which could cause your query to break. So I hope you are able to understand. You cannot delete in before 2 or 3 steps. You can only delete the last step. And one more thing you need to check here during the data transformation is the quality of the data. You can go to the view. There is a the column quality. Okay, it's not the quality of the data. The column quality. It will give you three parameters. One is valid, error, and empty. Just check for the empty and error things. Uh, as per Power BI experts, right? You cannot just like that put empty cells. There should be some information that you have to make sure, unless there is a need. In this case, if you see in every columns, the empty cell is 0%. There is no empty cell. But there are some columns where you can see 100%. Okay, so you need to make sure that is it valid, is it making sense, or it is wrong. How to check that one? Now, for in this case, like always remember that Power BI, the query editor will show only the first 1,000 rows. So within the first 1,000 rows, if there is a empty cells, it is always show you the 100%. But after 1,000 rows, if there are some data, it means that the the full column is not empty, right? The full column is not empty. Only the first 1,000 is empty showing here. So you have to make sure by checking your data set or the source. In this case, here I am checking from Scopus, empty is 100%. So I will go and check in my sheet, is it really all the data is empty, or first 1,000 is empty, or how it is. So this is the sheet. Now if you will see here, there are 4,233 is filled. Only the remaining is empty, because the once I loaded the data, the first 1,000 actually it is empty. That's why the cell is empty. Similar case is for others in this data sets, but you need to make sure that empty data sets is valid or not. Okay, so that's what I just wanted to communicate on that. So we will continue our data cleaning steps in my next video. Till then, goodbye.